Good morning. Here we are, Eastern European regional qualifiers continuing, and we are moving up to the upper bracket. Outsiders against Mindgames going to be our first series of the day. But Sheepo, we've had plenty of games. Yesterday we had a couple of one-way stomps. Take a look at the schedule and the group stage bracket, and figure out where we've come from and where we're heading to. What have been your biggest points here?
Biggest points? Hard to say, really. I feel like most of these games are kind of going the way that you would expect. It's sad, I guess, to see Pawnee struggle. They just get 2-0'd twice and are out of the bracket. I had like some hopes and dreams for them, but what can you do? I think Namiga looking strong. Just their past results make them look like a formidable team. Seeing them go against PuckChamp is going to be definitely a highlight for me, just to see how they rate, because it's easy to look at the top and say, okay, well, Outsiders, Navi, they're the big boy teams. Betboom, sure, major attendees. It's nice to see how the rest of the teams slot into this, especially a team like Hellraisers as well down there, coming up previously in Div 2 after a poor regional finals performance in Tour 2. So I'm excited to see all of Europe come together here, Europeans come together here to fight it out.
Absolutely. This Hellraisers team, a lot of people have got their eyes on, Watson, Rebel, Gilgear joining in that squad as well, looking pretty solid. They've had some decent results moving on through that bracket, as they do have to go up against Move down the lower bracket later on today. And the schedule for today, as we can see that, of course, we've got Outsiders against Mindgames, the first best of 3 of the day. Moving into Navi, Betboom, which is going to be an exciting one coming up next. And then when Owen and Fogs take over, Namiga against PC and Hellraisers against Move down towards the end. Our first 2 series, though, Sheepo, Mindgames up against Outsiders, the challengers, the ones that are very likely going to be moving on towards that grand final. What do you think they can do here to upset them in a best of 3?
For Mindgames, definitely hard to say. I don't think Mindgames were the strongest team. Just looking from their Tour 3 results alone, they came 6th place, narrowly avoiding relegation. But at the same time, during the actual DPC season, they tied with all, the bottom 3 was all tied, and they happened to be the ones that won the tiebreakers. It's like they didn't look that strong. We look at Outsiders versus Mindgames, and previously it was a 2-0 to Outsiders in the tour as well. And during those games, I think game 1 was actually relatively even. Mindgames had a pretty good time. They played really well off mid. With this puck draft, Einkrad is a pretty decent player, actually. The only problem was there's this problem people have where they find it difficult to really pressure ramzees. And despite having way more kills on the side of Mindgames, Ramzees just farmed up his TB really hard. The net worth lead never really went further than 3k in Mindgames' favor. And as a result, Ramzees just hit this peak timing on Terrorblade and they just ended the game. Even though they had a kill deficit, it didn't matter. You have to really be on top of Dota when you play against Outsiders, because they are very skilled. We saw in their last series in this friggin' regionals, Outsiders are just GPK's destroying mid, then starts feeding it up, dies 3 times. Doesn't matter. They're still all 3 cores top of the net worth chart. So
that's the funny thing, right? Because we saw Ramzees go 0-2, 0-3 in lane as a Medusa, and then GPK pops off. They always seem to have this ability where other players turn on the berserker mode when someone else is having a rough time, and they start popping off, getting kills, and alleviating a lot of that pressure from some of their other cores. And you're right, keeping all 3 top of the net worth with DM's Doom always racing up there with his Devours and Midases, things like that. I think they're very good at kind of distributing the pressure. We talk about distributing net worth, distributing kind of resources on the map, but they're very good at making sure that you're creating space in meaningful ways across the map for your heroes to actually not just farm, but accomplish ganks and all positions to set up against your opponents.
Outsiders are great at identifying their win condition and getting towards it. They're also just a generally very high skill team. So even if their draft isn't ideal, or they have 50-50 lane matchups, you might still see them just coming out really ahead. And that's going to be the biggest problem here for Mindgames. I mentioned their tour performance versus Outsiders. After that first game, Outsiders gave them nothing. They stomped them in the second game. There was no deaths on GPK. Just a total rollover. they got their work cut out for them.
5 seconds
We'll see the Bignum Marcy though get picked up. That was definitely the most hyped thing when they played against PuckChamp.
Yeah, it's this fourth core, right, with that phase boots BKB Basher build. Well, he got handed an Aghanim Scepter, right, by his Alchemist in that previous game. Maybe we see the same story here. And Outsiders just starting straight up first pick Lina. That's how much they prioritize this hero right now. And we've seen a lot more flexibility from her with her item build.
Yeah, I love it. I think the Lina magic build is looking really strong. We've seen her using a stun and a Dragon Slave on a support and nearly killing them straight up. Like I never thought I'd see that level of damage from a Lina in my life, but here we go. Like they don't even need the ult. It just doesn't register. They go the Shard and then they go the Ags after like Ether Lens, sometimes the Yules. It's not necessary though. She's still like flexible even in this magic build. And you can just kind of do whatever you want. It depends on the enemy lineup. Of course, like we've seen lower armor enemy lineups where Lina's still going Silver Edge, BKB, crit, whatever, and just dealing all that physical damage. It's anything that's required of her. I think she's just in a good place right now.
Yeah, and it's also one of those heroes that we don't often talk about as being a blocker pick. But you think about Nyx Assassin as one where you're kind of scared to pick Ember Spirit. And anyone that's kind of doing AoE damage. Snapfire as well, with these kind of Phoenixes coming out as well. But Lina, very good against some of these support heroes that you're going to be like, do we really want to pick this into the Lina? They're going to get shredded by it. Do we want to pick these physical damage, carries that are going to suffer against this magic damage? He's kind of this scary hero there that, with the flexibility, you're not sure what's coming. So it can cause some problems in your draft.
Yeah, I really want to highlight there. You brought up Snapfire's name. It wasn't the main focus of your point, but
that's fine.
That is a hero that Europe East loved. Like we saw very commonly all these zoo heroes like Beastmaster and everything in the off lane. They always paired really nicely with Snap, and Europe East took advantage of that a lot, especially during Tour 3. It's honestly surprising to me. I think during this qualifier so far, I don't think we've really seen her at all, and I'm not quite sure why. I don't think the nerfs were enough to gut her, and you see on the other side heroes like Tiny, Marcy, and they've just received a bunch of nerfs, and everyone's still like chill with them. I'm not sure why Snap has fallen out of favor. It's very weird.
Yeah, that's a weird one, because we even saw it at Genting still as well, where people were going for this, like the Puck Snap pairing was always incredibly strong, because you just go around as two, you coil, you kisses, you kill someone, and it all looks
the
good.
Kisses weren't touched. The worst thing that happened to her was they nerfed the Shard. They changed it from being this like stun to like the cookie now goes further and it does a glob. It's still decent for like pushing out waves, and it does a lot of damage as well, which is nice. I think it just takes away her utility as being okay, I'm a support, I'm gonna have Blink Shard and I'm gonna be able to set up a kill like for my team. I guess like taking that away makes her less value. I just didn't think it would be to this extent, because the ult is still good.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll still see her picked up. If a Phoenix is grabbed, you're like, oh yeah, still got a little Shredder, gonna grab her.
Yeah.
No problems with that.
Right? But that's the thing. Guess what hero has become really popular? Undying. It's the same concept.
Yeah.
Having the little Shredder for the tombstone is super valued.
That's the other hero that I was struggling to try and remember, the Lina kind of blocking as well, right?
Yeah.
You're scared of picking things like Undying into that with her attack speed. Outsiders with a Beastmaster, so DM going to be set up in his off lane, and 2 cores picked up here. First pick grabbing a couple of cores, you can protect it, ban out the Ench, get rid of Dusa and PA. So they really are focusing on giving DM a very good laning stage with those 3 bans.
Yeah, PA was a hero that it's always been the counter to Beastmaster, just because in lane with your evasion and armor, it's really hard for him to do much to you. And with the dagger, she's always able to kind of whittle down your boars from range without really putting herself in harm's way. And it just made it very hard to lane. But PA was very out of meta for a long time, so some teams would just skimp on not having to ban it, knowing that it is, in general, just hard for the enemy to make that hero work.
Yeah.
And you have so much flexibility in your own Beastmaster build. You can go the Helm, you can go the Wraith Pact, you can go Blink BKB, you can go Axis build, you can go, you can just play around your Raw or what have you. So Beast was always just better, but now PA is back. The lifesteal on the Phantom Strike just makes her much stronger going into that mid game. And
5 seconds
obviously with the good lane against Beastmaster, you're kind of setting her up really well there. So there's definitely a must ban.
Well, a Rubik now giving us Marcy Rubik as your two supports. That always strikes me as maybe a little bit greedy, but we have seen 5 Rubik become a little more popular over the last year or so. You've got Insania grabbing it up, a couple of other players and teams definitely doing that as well. I think Miposhka are probably one of the better ones, right? Team Spirit grabbing that 5 Rubik from time to time. But what's the idea here? Is that just a straight solid support that you're picking third to not give anything away?
I'm not sure. It could just be a comfort pick for Mind Games. I know Bignum likes it a lot, but I would assume he was playing the Marcy. I mean, maybe Slayer wants to play the Marcy. They might. I don't know what they want to do, but I'm okay with a Rubik 5. What I like about it is it covers the weaknesses of Marcy. Like, Marcy's spells are so awkward to use now. She can't like push out waves very well, and Rubik does a good job of that. You're playing into Beastmaster, so you do need to just be a little bit more prepared to defend towers and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's another displacement tool as well. Dispose plus telekinesis. You're dragging people back to towers and throw them behind tier 3s if they're pushing. But I was thinking, we've seen Bignum pop off. A lot of these Marcys from the POS 4 already talked about it, kind of transitioning into a core position. Wait 1 second.
Sniper!
Sniper!
Gareth, hold your thought. We got a sniper in the game.
Please, I held my thought already. I'm very quick. I just reckon a lot of these core players are looking at these support Marcys and thinking, wait, they're buying BKB Basher? Why don't I just play Marcy as a core? Put it 3, put it mid. Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I did see that quite a bit in Southeast Asia when we were covering that. It had like mixed success. Sometimes it was really good, sometimes it was really bad, just because her farming is kind of difficult, and if you do fall behind, it's quite rough. And there's this whole problem of like jumping in the early to mid game pre BKB where you can just die instantly, and as a core you really don't want that. Like, you're kind of sacrificing yourself for the throwback.
Yeah. Okay, sniper.
Okay, sniper, hype! Oh my god, I can't believe we're watching Arkosh in the European qualifiers. I love this hero. I love this hero a lot. Back in Tour 1, like, Pure was playing this hero quite often, but it was usually picked as a Terrorblade counter. Obviously, since then, the hero just seems to have been explored a little bit more, and people are picking it into other ideas. I love this here against outsiders. You have absolutely no jump right now. Beastmaster typically likes to go Blink Dagger, but a little bit later. Usually he focuses more on his auras early on and just trying to push towers. Not only is Sniper very strong in lane with the Shrapnel build, but he also is great at holding towers. Again, with Shrapnel, with his long range, you're just playing into no jump. It's honestly one of the best sniper games I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, it used to be a hero that people picked against, the Razors, the ODs, the Leaners, these kind of ranged int heroes that like to launch lots of damage towards you. And you're right, with no jump there, he can just outrange them and keep clicking away. I really like the fact that they've also got disposed telekinesis, and DP builds tanky, so you have a frontliner there that can actually move in front of you, play forward, and give that space to Sniper to protect him.
Yeah, it's great. And if I don't know, I'm assuming they want to put Marcy in the lane with him, and that's why they picked up this Rubik, potentially. Well, okay, they chose the Sniper later down the line. I'm not sure they fully planned for this. However, it's nice having the Marcy there, so that it's a really strong lane. Like, Beastmaster generally tends to want to get his level 3 and level 5 and dominate the lane with his boars, but I think like Marcy constantly rebounding in with points and shrapnel is actually, he's the one at threat instead. It's hard to lane. It's hard, and it's going to be hard for him to take his tower. I think I've seen offlaner Beastmasters, when they're faced with this problem, they just tend to like farm the jungle around the lane instead of just like throwing themselves at the tower over and over again. We'll probably just see like either a lot of rotations from outsiders top to try and secure that objective, or they'll just chill and try and like farm out their timings.
Well, a little bit of gap closed there. And Bloodseeker, when he's got the thirst up on him, can get in on top of the Sniper. I don't know, I was trying to rack my brain thinking, I don't know, does Ramzees play like an Ember Spirit? Spectre doesn't feel particularly good anymore. And now an Underlord.
Okay. I feel like we saw this matchup like the other day, right? Or at least once before in this qual.
The Underlord against Bloodseeker?
Yeah, I think
we did.
It went Underlord favored. I think it actually might have been Mind Games that did it.
It might have been. I'm not too sure. But yeah, it's definitely an Underlord doing very, very well for himself.
For sure, I really like him ever since they changed the ult so that it has the the pull. It's just made the hero a lot more viable. The ability to kind of have impact on the map while not giving up map space is really nice, because before it's like you're committing your ult, you have to go to this place. You like if you've TP'd somewhere, like you kind of lose your mobility. But I've seen these Underlord seems so nice. He can just like come to mid, push a wave out, go back to his bot, push the lane out there, come back mid. Like it's just really nice global presence. And they have a lot of setup with Slayer on his Rubik, with Bignum on his Marcy. They're going to be able to find, catch, and kill throughout this game. And yeah, just the ability to hold their towers on Mindgames is insane. Like it's going to be really hard to push high ground on outsiders. They have to really like play some clean ass Dota, get some really good like smoke into like team fight, team wipe, and then they can take the objectives.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at both these drafts, and my favorite thing is that no one's really reliant on super long cooldowns. They don't have, you know, AoE teamfight in the conventional sense. They don't have these black holes or ravages, but they've got, you know, pits of malice with shrapnel, telekinesis with dispose, moving people back into that AoE damage. And with, of course, Icred on this mid DP, we're going to have a much more farmed and scaled up Death Prophet able to actually, you know, play forward with the Underlord and these two supports. If I was looking at these drafts blind, not thinking about the teams, I'd go for Mindgames. You know, like yeah. I don't know, 80% of the time, honestly. I really like their draft.
I also really like that draft, but now we have to consider the outsiders effect.
Yes.
And that is a big one. I think GPK, I mean, it's GPK. He's probably going to destroy mid lane somehow. Maybe he won't. Maybe he won't. Like, this team has gone even in the past, you know, it's not just like cut and dry. However, if GPK gets a really good start, I think he might be the win condition for this team. You have Bloodseeker, who's going to provide a lot of early team, like early fighting ability. Like he can get involved, he can do things, but GPK might be the one that they want to build with this physical damage build. Say they get a Dragon Lance, she can then siege the towers despite all of this depush from Mindgames. Just yeah, it's hard. Like Sniper is designed and usually picked just to counter long range heroes.
Yeah.
Like when you see a Drow, Medusa, whatever, you're like, okay, Sniper. He outranges them. He doesn't have to trade with them.
Then your main priority is just protecting him.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to see which way GPK goes, because I can definitely see the build up range and try and become a sniper yourself. But I could also see that magic damage build with like a blink on GPK, right, where he just jumps on the sniper and blows him up. He's pretty squishy. No, pre-BKB, he could just get demolished by this Lina. And same thing with the DP as well. Lina was very often seen as the hard counter to the Death Prophet. You know, in the mid lane and through the game several years ago. Might not be the same nowadays. But if you can blow up the DP before or like just after she gets off Exorcism, she's just completely removed from the game. And it's your mid laner, not your off laner here. So that's pretty important to keep in mind.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have just like posed another reason why I feel like there should be right-click build on Lina to get that like Skadi and stuff, and help deal with the DP.
Slow her down, stop the heals. Bounty runes, yeah, 2 apiece. A little bit different this time though. Right-hand side, invade from outsiders. Nice to see Mindgames realizing that they had the opening to go up into that top jungle and take it. So GPK up against Ironcrad in that mid lane. Lina DP. We'll see how that one goes in a couple of minutes. You know, it's always first wave. Get those range creeps, secure those. Down the bottom, Sniper. Paired up with that Marcy, like you said. So they've got the dispose back into Shrapnel. Of course, that rebound to be able to reposition Bignum to move forward.
It is still Bignum playing it. It's just a nice heads up to lane swap. Makes their lanes much nicer. They're actually, like, generally you see pos 4s being, like, melee pos 4s being the ones that cut the waves, but Yamatis is doing it on Skyroth because they're just so aware of this level 2 timing on Mindgames where they are just a total threat. I think Outsiders lane, North lane is just way weaker. I'm not sure if they hit a point where they're stronger. Maybe if they can get the 2 balls going and they're like level 5 on Beastmaster, so they're super strong, and like catch out Bignum. But even then, he can just rebound off of Sniper or a Creep Wave and get away. It's like, it just is a little bit awkward. They'd have to do a lot of trading to like whittle them down and then just make it go.
Yeah, and it's boots first on the Skyrath as well, right? He's very, very speedy, just to try and run away from shrapnel and rebound and all that stuff. And up in that top lane, we've got ourselves our Ramzees Bloodseeker. So he's with an Ogre, double melee lane against an Underlord and a Rubik. So Hakuda's got his work cut out for him just to try and trade with Slayer, make sure that there's no stacks or pulls being made up by the Rubik. get as much damage as you can with this newly buffed up ogre with his right clicks.
See, the Rubik went for stats to try and trade nicely, which is obviously one idea. I really liked Yamcha's boots, just because it's not even just for pulling, but the problem with Marcy is like the ability to be thrown back if you ever get into melee range of her. So just making sure that he has the move speed to always stay out of that kind of threat was a really heads up play. Rubik not gonna make the same approach. He just feels like he wants to sit on the lane with Underlord and just trade and hit, help deny. Like with the damage from the Atrophy Aura on Underlord plus Rubik's like minus damage with Fade Bolt, I think like their big goal should be to control CS in this lane.
That damage reduction is pretty nutty.
Yeah.
Ramzees still doing well for himself though. Just slightly ahead of that Underlord. Hakata doing a good job, and he's already dewarded this small camp in behind himself. GPK, as always, playing aggressively under that tier 1, trying to keep Ironcrad away. Water runes already having been grabbed up, one apiece. These bottles now empty. Both mid laners screaming for their supports to go feed, come TP mid and refill my bottle, please.
This is my favorite part of watching these games is definitely seeing how many supports come to mid, depending on how hard GPK owns the enemy mid.
So, Yamich, they're disposing the shrapnel, and your first blood's there for Dino.
Happens. This is the threat. This is the scary thing. You buy boots to stay away from Marcy, but Rebound is always not going to care about that at all.
And get straight on top of you. It's kind of... It's an expected one, right? You know, you called it out. We know it. The players know it. That's gonna happen. It's kind of as long as DM doesn't die, he's not the one losing out on the experience and the gold, then it's okay. But whenever the Scarth Mage is out of lane, you can see DM here has to play very tentatively away from the creep wave because Sniper he offers a lot of damage. Yeah, level 3. He's got 2 shrapnels. He's got headshot. It looks like Big Num's still chasing Yamich around.
I mean, I've seen in the past this DM just recovering and like being left to solo lane. Like if Yamich was to leave and go help mid, go help top, I wouldn't entirely be against it. I've watched other players as well, like Zai. You see him play sacrificial so much. He will just go and farm like the triangle hard camp just to try and recover, and just play like that instead, and just say, okay, well my game's kind of, you know, shit. It's fine.
Well, Hakada also inside all these big AoE circles, lifted back into the Firestorm. Ramsey's trying to trade hits there as well into this Underlord with 40 bonus damage. Not ideal for him. And he's got a pretty full stick. Trying to CS under the Firestorm and the Fade Bolt. It's really irritating here for outsiders in that top lane. Like Ramsey's toying with death at this point.
It's scary. You want to sit in the lane and last it to get your healing from the thirst. He's maxing his thirst, but it's so hard.
Yeah, and if this bottom lane isn't putting pressure on the sniper either, right? So, mid lane though, the DP in a lot of trouble. Now GPK gets sucked back by the Spirit Siphons, and the table's turning, maybe. Ironcrad, he's got a couple of stick charges. I don't know if he can finish the job though. Both of them trading blows very effectively.
That healing's nutty. Like that's the change on the Siphon showing off.
The flat damage. Ramsey's chasing back BB, so at least Outsiders able to do something in that top lane to get past all of that onslaught.
I'm surprised. I think BB needs his face boost or something so he can sit in the lane better. Or maybe he'll go treads actually. It kind of depends on what you want. They're coming mid now for 6-minute runes on supports. Like both heroes are gonna want it. Like Dakota angling. He only has enough for 1 spell, and he hasn't even maxed Fire Blast. Might get enough for an ignite.
I'll try and chuck the ignite at them. I mean, Big Num's also moving in towards mid. Ironcrad's DP spots out Yamich. Gets off the Spirit Siphon before the silence lands. They throw Laguna Blade in, but he's got raindrops, stick charges, and GPK needed that Light Strike array just to slip away from Big Num. He's looking for the dispose, but now with Slayer here, it looks like Outsider's going to have to give up of any ability to chase. That Courier being killed, though, is a pretty big deal. Boots and Observer Ward removed from Slayer's inventory.
Minecraft's being such an annoyance as this DP. I think it must be so frustrating for GPK to just keep hitting him, and then like a single Siphon is just getting him back to full health. Yeah. Oh yeah, I just died again. It's max shrapnel.
Max shrapnel with rebound. Not what you wanted. But it's the fact that Ironcrad brought up these raindrops. Still has a fairy fire. He's very aware of the turnaround potential with his hero with that heal. You're right.
But at the very least, like, he is winning the CS game. Good try, Magnum. Yeah, he's winning the CS battle really hard. Like, he is owning this lane. He's 800 net worth up on iCrad. The nice... He's maxing Spirit Siphon. What the fuck is going on? God, there's so much fighting. Sorry, I need to relax. These guys are going crazy.
It's support dying. Yeah, this is the job, right? Hakuda, the one dying there, so Ramzees can live. We've seen Yamish die a couple of times, so the DM can continue farming, gets his level 3 boars, and I think Helm is now being delivered to him as well. So it's starting to hit our timings, but that Laguna Blade rotating in from GPK moves straight up to top to kill off BB. That's important for Ramzees. That's the move we were talking about pre-game during the draft. That GPK is so able to, alleviate that pressure from his other core heroes. As they're going in a bottom lane, Sheepo, they're killing off DM here. Headshots landing. Big Num's already spent his stun, so DM with a nice TP home.
It's nice, but it means you're out of the lane. I'm honestly surprised by how well DM is doing, honestly.
Or DP?
Oh, God.
Maybe this time, Aincrad, the heals. Oh my god, no way is he allowed to get away with this. Big Num jumps in with a rebound and tossed back. GPK destroyed by the Ghost and the Spirit Siphon and getting him tips before he's even died.
That heal is illegal. It's actually just illegal. There's no way. He's just going up to full. I was thinking, okay, you've had a terrible lane. Maybe just max your Crypt Swarm and recover with that. No, it doesn't matter. He actually can just man fight Alina.
Dire's structures are fortified.
And win without problem. Oh,
Nice.
this new Spirit Siphon is just wacky.
Yeah, I need some kind of response from outsiders. So DM brings his Centaur into mid. Chain stun to Marcy, let GPK get the kill. Alina TP's in just to snipe it. And it does look like GPK is going to go that I guess regular route that we're used to seeing. The BKB, the travels, then across the your Skadi, Daedalus, Shivers, whatever you want to go for.
Makes sense to me. I mean, talking quickly on the new patch, we do see a Falcon Blade on GPK. Just seems to be the item of the patch. A lot more heroes buying it, seeing it a little bit on some off like Marses as well. Strength heroes looking for bracer alternatives. To touch lightly on the new patch as well, I'm talking about the Death Prophet, but if you aren't familiar with the patch and the changes that happen, Spirit Siphon, it used to do percentage damage, therefore it was very effective against tanky heroes, but they changed it to a flat damage. So now, playing against Alina, with lower health pool, it's now doing just like a lot of damage to someone like her, and is why you're seeing so much heal coming out.
Yeah. Just burst heal straight back up. You pair that with a full wand, and you really are healing like 600 health or something in a matter of seconds.
Radiant's bottom
I think they even
tower
buffed
is
the
under
damage
attack.
numbers on it in the B patch.
DPS increased what by 5 per level? No, even 10 per level on some. 20 per level at the end. Gee, yeah. When you get level 4 Spirit Siphon's massively buffed actually.
It's really good right now, and it makes us just that much more terrifying to squishier heroes, including
Radiant's
supports.
bottom tower is under attack.
Well, Sniper's had a pretty quiet time these past couple of minutes. He's up at the top of the net worth board now, trying to sit back in the pocket in that bottom jungle, protected by his DP and Marcy. Hakuda doing a very good job just scouting forward. He's the recon man. The Ogre going to dive under tier 1 to try and run away. And I'll chase him down and defend their objective, because that was a catapult wave coming into that bottom lane, something that outsiders were looking to try and levy to their advantage.
A nice rotation. This is, I think, Aincrad's first. Obviously, GPK did that earlier rotation top to kill BB. He's actually come again now on a smoke. I think seeing the hero commitment to bot makes him confident.
Yeah, C3 heroes bot, move into top. Concussive shot, landing onto the Marcy though, and she just goes in. Rebound unleashed onto GPK. Good blood right though, silences the Rubik to stop any counter initiation, and Yamish chucks the Mystic Flare in there towards them, but Ramzees did get dragged back into that Firestorm as Dino, the one able to TP top, because he was already set up bottom. He didn't need to maneuver, so able to react.
This is breathing space for DM. He'll finally get this tower bot. They'll trade top, hopefully. I don't really see a world where outsiders can defend top. But they're happy with this. I mean, DM, we talked about how hard his lane was, but really Skyrock tanked pretty much all the deaths. DM has just been farming up slowly. He's got his helm. He's honestly having a perfectly good Beastmaster game. And now with this tower going down, he's going to have way more space to just farm the jungle, farm the lane bot with his creeps, and take that map space away from Mindgames. I'm just going to say they probably should then look maybe to use Raw to swing on mid and pressure that tower, just hit it with creeps or what have you. They'll just want to whittle this tower down soon at some point when they feel strong enough to do so. And when they have that opened up, it just makes Outsiders' game a little, like, they just have more breathing room. They feel good.
It's a very, very simple kind of move to execute. What's the plan for Mindgames then? Can they do a similar thing? Because it doesn't feel like Underlord is that hero that can just go sit top and farm jungle at the same time. He's going to be holding the wave bottom. What do the other four from MG do?
Thinking that they'll just want to let, like, Sniper wants to farm primarily. We saw how, like, a lifestealer with an armlet could get really involved. Goodbye, rest in peace, Ogre.
Yeah, that's his job.
Yeah, it's kind of the duty of the team that supports in the DP to make moves, to smoke and get plays. You probably don't want to let Outsiders be farming like across the map the way they are right now. Look at how spread out they are. Someone like Skyra should never be able to show his face top without dying. Whether you play like a Marcy top, setting up with your sniper, or whether you just smoke or make a play or just run somewhere and take like an area of control. You just want to limit Outsiders farming space while letting Sniper just farm up really hard, because he's your win condition. They don't have catch for him. There's a chance, like, one of the big nice things is where Outsiders are going to be playing, like, generally. At the start of every new minute, ramzees is probably going to be farming a triangle. Just in general, Beastmaster's probably going to be playing bot, like, in your jungle. Like, that's his farming space. That's where he wants to be. So, with this two information, it means that you can make, like, pretty good smoke rotations. Like, they're going to be down there, so going top is safe. Like, that's probably the idea they're functioning on right now.
Yeah, and as Raging, they want to be playing up that top side, get some vision in that jungle. Unfortunately, they've just missed the Lina. If they were even 30 seconds earlier, they would have found this GPK Lina as she was trying to farm her BKB. Currently 400 gold away from it. The straight up BKB rush after the Falcon Blade. So definitely going for this earlier timing, but they will still capture. GPK going for the extra large camp, going to get drained of her life. They even bring the portal in from the Underlord to make sure there's no recourse from Outsiders to turn around on it. And this should turn into a tier 1 mid as well. So that opens up that triangle and even easier ability to go and aggressively move towards ramzees now.
A good play, secures your mid tower. And this will make it harder for Outsiders to then take their mid tower in response. I think DM recognizes that it's probably hard to take mid just because of how easy it is for Mindgames to collapse on that area. So he's just been like pressuring bot instead.
I'm gonna keep going on that tier 2. It looks like Outsiders going to try and clear their jungle. No more sentries on the Ogre. He's already placed one, expecting a ward to be a little deeper. Even gonna go smoke. Where's he heading? Triangle. Spot the sniper.
Oh, these wants.
Where are you? I mean, Slayer's now the hero up top, just trying to soft shove that wave. Oh, he's got Dragon Slave actually stolen. Dragon Slave Fade Bolt, very easily clearing out that wave.
That's really nice. GBK has just finished his BKB. I'm trying to think of the timings for Outsiders because, like, I can feel the frustration of DM. He wants to push in the bot tier 2, but Underlord's just sitting in front of it, and he knows he can't go mid because to pressure there, you might go on a ward, you might get killed by Marcy. Like, they're trying to hide off the map on Mindgames, and if you push this mid tower, then suddenly, like, Mindgames will show up, they try and kill you. Like, they're much more aggressive, and it's much easier for them, so I think they're just trying to eke out as much farm as they can right now until Bloodseeker feels comfortable fighting. He also needs a BKB.
Yeah, a little bit of a mismatch in timing there, but bottom Big Num. Oh, he doesn't see it. Now he does. Hello, DM. Can we grab him with the Dispose? He's going to roar the Marcy, but the root's there. BB has this rod of Atos to catch DM. They'll even throw the Unleash in there for good measure. Kill him off and stop that push coming in on that tier 2 bottom.
Yeah. This feels like one of those slow games to me. The kind where it's like, okay, we have our BKBs, but we're still going to wait for our good fight, Yeah. And then another 10 minutes pass.
It's like Lena's like, I've got my BKB, I'm kind of ready, but I'll use it if they go on me. Ramzee's saying, I need my BKB. DM thinking about, his Helm of the Overlord and trying to wait for that. But it definitely felt like one of the stories that you were spinning earlier on about this distribution of farm. We did have a point where Sniper, yes, he's at the top, but the next three were all Outsiders heroes. And now I feel like Mindgames have been doing a pretty good job of breaking the rhythm and routine of Outsiders with these little moves. And another big smoke here. If they can catch a core kill, maybe move into Roshan, puts them in a really solid position for this Sniper just to open up with this Dragonlance, Mom, and almost Deso build. Sniper's pretty huge.
This is definitely the Roche fight smoke for them.
Yamich, I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah, obliterated. Is that enough to go Roche? You still want to, like, you know, kill a Lina or something, right?
I think you might be okay with it, just because Beastmaster's showing on bot wave. Obviously it sucks because you don't have control of the outpost, so they do have like wasted TP, but you have a good ward on this cliff. I don't think like there's a way for the Outsiders to set up. This is the issue, right? They don't have any team fighting. Like, it's hard for them. They can't push towers, they don't have team fight, they're lacking a lot in their draft.
Radiant's top tower.
And we both like this Mindgames draft, and it's working out so far. I honestly, I'm still not experienced with this sidekick. Every time I see it, I am surprised. Like how much it gives you. You know, on a lone druid, on a lifesteal damage, everything. Like the Sniper with sidekicks doing, you know, 200 damage a hit.
Yeah, it's insane. It's actually so wild. I thought you would be maxing rebound now that they put kind of everything on it, but everyone's just adapting and just going psychic max instead. And because that in the previous iteration of Marcy, I think you were maxing dispose and psychic and leaving 1 point rebound. Or that was one build you could do.
Pretty much.
Hunting on Outsiders or what?
Yeah, I mean they're pushing mid with the ancient creep and the Lina from long range. Glyph is there for Mindgames though, but they are under this dire ward that Hakata got down a couple of minutes ago. So Outsiders with full vision of where they're coming from. Catching Lina though, and with that nice little stun, they're going to find GPK. He gets off his BKB, but it's all too late. Marcy does get shredded by Ramzees, trying with his BKB to bring down Aincrad, but when the Sniper arrives, the fight is over. And that was Rubik with the Roar, right? Rubik had stolen Roar, caught it onto the GPK Lina.
I didn't catch that. I was looking at the back line.
Yeah, it was.
Dino TP'd in and Outsiders were trying to wrap on the tower to kill any TPs there, but it just didn't work for them because they were kind of split in two ways.
I heard the Roar noise. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there's the Roar.
I heard the noise and I was like, wait, it's early morning. Is my brain playing tricks on me? No. Rubik had that stolen Roar, I guess, from the kill down bottom, right, where DM used it on the Marcy. Rubik stole it.
I guess, yeah. I just didn't catch that. I wasn't watching it. But yeah, no, that was a great roar, nice roar. They got the mid tower at the very least. You can be happy that that tower's finally down. It did take a concerted 5-man effort, but there's still an Aegis at play. They're going for a tier 2 tower now. It looks like the Outsiders are going to try and force the issue bot. It just means that Mindgames either have to give up their like presence top, or they can just like fully commit down bot and try and take a fight. They also have a little bit of initiation issues, really, because the Marcy's not going for a blink. She's going for that BKB build we talked about.
It's kind of nice that this Underlord did go for that Atos, just to try and make up for that fact, so he can catch people when they're not BKB'd up. And he's scouted under this Hawk, and DM trying to slide into this jungle. Mystic Flare with the Roar on him. It's a pretty tanky Underlord though, and it doesn't look like he's going to die anytime soon. Aincrad TP's in to kill off Yamich, but doesn't find him. So they do rotate quite a few numbers down bottom to defend the tower. Objective defended, that's for sure.
You're seeing a little bit of result of Outsiders' rough game. Just they're not having any real initiation or ways to like roll people. Yamich doesn't have levels from getting kills. He's not level 2 in his ult, so that Underlord just lives. It's only level 1, and Underlord's like so tanky. Strength treads, raindrop, ogre. Like, strength from Rod of Atos. He's a hard boy to kill.
He is. And he's looking for GPK. There's a lot of heroes up here wanting the Lina. GPK found a single tree he can hide behind, turns around and fights into Bignum with a Laguna Blade, and then goes and TP's home. Oh my god! That's gonna be one of the, it's gonna be one of the wildest things. You know, Bignum's like, I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna find. Oh guys, I'm dead.
What a Chad. Honestly, it's your 8-second BKB, but but I'm okay with it because they're just not using this BKB on anything else. You might as well get a kill.
Yeah, just use it. Because it kind of slows down Mindgames here, who would love to use the remaining... I guess they've got 1 minute left, but it would have been like a minute and a half of this Aegis to get outpost, move into tier 2 mid, plant themselves in that top jungle. But instead, they're kind of falling back, defending the sniper in his own ancient camp. And it gives a lot of room for outsiders to push out bot and play into their vision. You know, 2 dire wards, 1 in that mid lane, 1 down in the bottom jungle. Gives them quite a bit of room here.
Beastmaster just received his blink. I don't know if they want to smoke with it. This is the build Beastmasters go I've seen or noticed when the game is quite hard. It's because if you can get that roar off, it's like you're having impact.
Especially against the sniper. Just jump the sniper.
Yeah.
Throw everything in onto him.
Outsiders had a ward, I think, that spotted that smoke.
Yeah, they feel something's coming. They just watch every dire hero, right? They're moving back behind tier 2s, 3 of them in the base, and Ogre, yeah, even TPing all the way back home. And I'll go for a smoke themselves. They're waiting for DM to regroup with the team. Blinks across. And they'll move into position. And again, it's about playing into that ward coverage. They've got 3 observers. They don't see anyone just yet, but they've got a pretty good idea of where they're heading as they do look to grab that outpost back. Through the river we head. GPK blinks ahead, straight on the sniper. The roar is there, but the lift save. Telekinesis keeping Dino alive, even through the Mystic Flare. He turns to fight. GPK shredded by the physical damage, but Ramzees, with DM, able to get a trade back onto the sniper at least. As Einkrad will finish off the Ogre. But Outsiders, it looks like they got what they came for. Trading GPK for the sniper is something they're willing to take.
This trade of lives, the sniper needs items. That's what I'm reading from it, basically. He's trying to go for Lincolns, and I'm kind of scared for that item progression, because whilst obviously it's needed for the roar, Ramzees has got like a halberd, a rupture. Oh my god, they're just going for him.
Yeah, trying to chase into Ramzees. And go portal forward into triangle. This tier 1 bottom being still alive, though, does make it a little more problematic. But Big Num, Einkrad, all TPing out, knowing there aren't that many stuns from Outsiders that could catch them.
Yeah, so that was a move. I'm really surprised they all got out alive. But yeah, I was saying Sniper is going for Lincolns, but they have a lot of Lincoln's breakers, and like Ramzees having halberd and wanting to rupture, and then like the roar. I definitely feel like they can get these off. Even if he has a Lincolns. Nice one, GPK. More support abuse.
Yeah, GPK, the support assassin. See someone, he kills them.
Yeah.
Is this going to be another one of those? Okay, never mind. He buys the boots of travel. We had that game the other day, right? Where someone was like, I need this item, that item. Buy the shard, buy the Ags, buy the Octarine.
100 things before boots of travel, yeah.
Yeah, putting a little more emphasis on that map control. So now GPK can actually be involved with the Beastmaster no matter where DM is.
They have like relatively nice save ideas on Mindgames for Sniper. Like the Rubik shot was really nice, lifting and pulling him back, and then Bignum able to rebound him, give him that extra bit of move speed. But...
See, like, this game state right now is something that I will... I don't know, forever be confused by, because it feels like Mindgames are winning. It feels like Mindgames have had the upper hand. But just that one fight bot where they trade Lina for Sniper has allowed Ramzees to get to the top of net worth. Lina's still getting support kills. She's second place. And Sniper DP have both dropped pretty far. Is this the Beastmaster effect where DM is constantly pushing bot lane, forcing the Radiant to react so they're on the back foot? Or what's happening?
Oh, God. Now I have to, like, collect 26 minutes worth of gameplay in my mind and trying to tell you a story.
Open the neurons, open the brains.
I'm feeling the fact that the sniper is kind of... I mean, he's not under-farmed, but it feels like he needs a lot of big items to be able to fight. And Outsiders outplayed them there. Like, that is a big thing. They were not winning, but that, like, having the ward show the smoke means that they know that Mindgames smoke will now break or like end before their own. That's why they like group up and do it. And then they go in knowing that Mindgames are going to be the one that probably shows on their vision. They have hawks, they have wards, they have like walls that have been placed and walls that they can put down, and that way they just like see everyone and they know what targets they want to go on.
No, that's a good point.
Oh
I
god,
like that.
Lina just boosted travel onto a ball that expired. That's so sad.
Oh no.
I think they wanted to take a fight there.
Stuck down bottom. But that's a good way of looking at it, because we have a similar kind of concept when it comes to, it doesn't happen much nowadays, but the old lane swapping, where the first mover is at a disadvantage. The person who reacts has an advantage. Because usually in Dota we think about the vision, the initiation, whoever gets the jump and knows which target they're going on has the advantage in a team fight. But there are a lot of scenarios where if you're actually the one to react and being able to be that second mover, the second wave of jump, you actually do get the upper hand.
It definitely worked for them there. Being able to see and find sniper was probably the biggest aspect of that. Yeah, the worst fight that outsiders can take is one where sniper is sitting comfortably back behind his team and is able to just hit and kill everyone. Because in that fight, because outsiders were the ones that jumped, it meant that they could, like, they saw a sniper, they had their blinks, they blink raw him. He gets thrown back, but Bloodseeker now with like all this move speed from the fight breaking out and everyone clashing, he just runs and finishes the job. He has a BKB. Sniper doesn't. Sniper has no BKB, no Lincolns in that fight. There's literally nothing he can do to defend himself. The halberd meant that he couldn't fight back, and then it's just like whatever. Because he had the sidekick on him, and for like a couple hits, he was just like man fighting pretty happily. But the halberd just made it impossible to finish the job. He needs so many items.
He really does. Oh, there's smoke portaling up top. GPK and Yamage turn around with a massive burst of magic damage. Sniper's still on the low ground as they do throw the rupture in towards the DP, and Einkran has to self-fuels, try and defend himself, but ramzees, no problems there whatsoever. DM's also found an opening onto Big Num, and would you believe it, Roshan has just respawned.
Wonderful. That's almost as good as the DD outside road.
4 hero kills. Outsiders find their avenue back into the game, and now it feels like this is Outsiders' one to lose. What's going to stop them? They've got Aegis up on ramzees. He's got his Aghanim shard, and he's ready to go.
That was insane. That was like a crazy move. The portal just into the middle of Lina with an Underlord Rubik only, like not even like a core hero. They don't have stuns. She's just gonna BKB and kill you. And now we see Skyroth having his 12, so his ult actually did do a lot of damage, and Underlord just disappeared.
Yeah. And Sniper wasn't really in position to do too much damage. When he did get clicks in, it looked like Skyroth was gonna die, but Dino unable to keep tabs on his target.
I wonder if this Deso was a mistake, Gary. What do you think about it? Because usually you see like a Mjolnir or something, and like you just play into attack speed, and like then you can go stuff like the Skadi or whatever have you.
Yeah, I really don't know. It definitely was like an unusual pickup, because he already had like the Mom and the Deso and the Dragonlance, right? And it always feel like Deso is kind of one of those items where you first or second item it, or you don't at all, because you want to build up those stacks, you want it earlier. Yeah, I really don't know. What's the reason he's not going BKB here? Like, I understand the Lincolns, but if that Deso was the majority of a BKB, would you feel better about it?
Not sure.
Because you're still going to get ruptured, roared, I guess.
Yes. They have so many BKB piercing abilities. Obviously, like what we praised the draft for in the draft was the fact that they didn't have jump for the sniper. So like, if you take an ideal of how their fight should be going and how they want to fight and play, Sniper shouldn't have to worry about BKB piercing, BKB, magic spells. He should only care about this rupture from long range or a blink roar, and I think that's what the Lincolns is for, and that makes sense to me. I definitely don't think he can go for a BKB now. I think even if he had the BKB, it wouldn't allow them to win a fight. I think he does just need damage carry items.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, back into the Silver Edge now. Dire scanning doesn't clip on anyone, but they've caught a glimpse of Einkran. They see the DP, the Hurricane, pushes him back in towards them with the rupture on him, and they roar up the Rubik in the back as well, focusing multiple targets. But Einkran, Spirit Siphoning, that won't be enough as the speedy Ramzees charges into their midst, kills off 3. And was that Hurricane, did DM steal it and use the Whirlwind, or?
I think the bird just decided it wanted to commit a hate crime against Mindgames.
It was still a neutral creep, right?
Yeah, I barely saw. I did not. I was looking at the health of the thing, and it did not like switch to an allied side. It just horrible animal.
Oh no!
I don't know. What the helm is on a 30-second cooldown. Maybe he sold it.
No, I watched the replay.
No.
It didn't look like it. It was still a neutral.
Okay.
Yeah, now killing off BB Underlord, GPK finding the opening as they push in 2 lanes at the same time. Oh man.
It's looking rough for Mindgames. When I look at them as a whole, right now especially, like we talked about Marcy and this build, and I talked about in the past how rough she feels when she gets behind. This is an example of when she's behind. The last time we saw Mindgames play, Bignum always had farm, always managed to find the space to get his BKB, and that way he was always a menace in fights. You looked at top, during that fight, he jumps in, he presses ult, and he realized, I can't hit anyone here. I will just die. Like, I'll get stunned. And he's forced to try and back off. The inability to commit basically means that he's just a creep. Like, especially if he misses that rebound at the start of a fight.
Yeah, and from the numbers, it looks like Sniper really struggling to do the damage. I think it was about 8,000 hero damage there, while you've got Bloodseeker and Lina doing, 18k or something along those lines. And much more able to get in on top of people and actually open up on them.
Yeah.
It's been really nice to see how outsiders have recovered. And when they're playing a lot of these games, sometimes they do have struggles in the laning stage. Sometimes they do have to come back from unfortunate team fights. But they're always treating these games like, they're climbing a mountain. They're not trying to do it all in one go. They don't want to try and win one massive team fight, completely stomp the game here. They're doing one little move, set up a base camp, go up the next few kilometers, set up another base camp, get yourself ready to the next item. It's all very step by step.
Yeah, it also does show in this game. Obviously, like, props to outsiders for the things they are doing right, and they're doing a lot of things right, and they played this game patiently as well. But, like, Mindgames feel like they're choking. Like, and it's the, like, difference in experience in a team. Like, that pull into the jungle, right? That's just a move that was never going to work out. Like, they just commit in thinking that they can just pop out and throw spells and that they're still strong, and it was a total miscalculation of their own strength. Stuff like, playing your DP's tanking a Rupture like that. I think if you're playing aggressively in their jungle and you don't have vision of the enemy, maybe you need a support standing in front of you to break a smoke. It's just like the very small things that are kind of just showing their inexperience as a team. Just like, they're not a bad team. They're not a bad team. But when you're playing against outsiders who are like international level contenders, you just have to be that bit sharper.
It's like one of those moves that if it had worked, it would have looked really good. It would have been sick. But your expected value there, if you're looking at this from outside perspective and you're thinking, if you go in there, like you say, against an international team, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get crushed. Yeah. 1 time out of 10, maybe it works. But if that's your percentages, it's not worth trying.
Yeah, you're playing into a team that is very well known for being able to keep up net worth. Like, this whole time, GBK's been super hyper farming. You're popping out, maybe thinking, yeah, we've been winning the game, we've been controlling, so she has no net worth, right? No, she has loads of net worth. She has an Assault Cuirass and a Daedalus now. Like, oh my god!
Oh, and she has a Bignum. Kills the Marcy easily, moves in towards the DP. The Yule's there, looks like with the BKB getting away from the Laguna Blade. But Lina also offering a lot of right-click physical damage, with the AC and the double damage rune. As the rest of outsiders swinging in from the northern side. Roar the bash, Ramzees cancels TP, first hit, opens up onto the Underlord, finds another pickoff. And Marcy bought back for this as well. It looked like Mindgames wanted to continue fighting.
This BKB is not looking like a possibility for Bignum.
He's miles away. They will rebound on the sky. That's a pickoff they needed. But Sniper, he's been roared up. Lincoln's got popped. And in comes Hakuda. They don't get the chain stuns and the side kick with a lifesteal. Ramzees, though, no problem for him. Bignum, the dive back, dead for 75. And now this game feels like it's out of the hands of Mindgames. A 24k lead has emerged. And for the past, 10 minutes or something, and has just been outsiders every step of the way, winning every skirmish. And every move they make has paid off.
That's the power of such a good team. Oh my god, he's got a Hex now. We're 6-slotted, boys.
Goodness gracious me. Still has space for Ags and Shard.
Yeah.
Plenty more scaling to do.
I love DM's reliability as an offlaner. Just like going into a hard lane, getting farm out of it, you know, way more than he probably should have. Taking that bot tower as soon as they leave and pushing out the lane, forcing reactions bot, like always being a nuisance, always getting pressure, getting his blink, having impact with it. Like, I now need to buy a 4-star. I'm just gonna buy a 4-star. It's not an ideal item, but he needs something to break the Lincolns.
Yeah.
It's the cheapest item available. He gets it. He does his job. You see there, he just roars the sniper, and he's just doing his job. It's not flashy. It's not insane. He's not like, you're not like screaming every time you see him play, but like it is just so reliable and good and nice to have on your team.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's beautiful to see when every player has, you know, a process in mind where they know, if I see target A or B, I do X, Y, Z to them. And every time it is just such crisp, clean execution because they have that pre-made plan and they're not reacting on the fly, right? You know, we often think about Dota as this kind of reactive game where you're quickly pressing spells to try and figure out what you're doing. If you know what you have to do, it comes naturally as GPK looks to blow up the Underlord, aiming Slayer now as well. Sniper actually able to get some good damage out, protecting himself, backing up, but DM's in, finds the roar opening, and Ramsey shreds through them. Outsiders not giving them a bloody chance.
And that's a bloody GG if I ever seen one, Gary.
It looks like it. I mean, yeah, Roaches is spawning in 10 seconds, but you said it. GG is called. They just tap out.
You don't come back from that. This sniper, honestly, I don't know if it's just the wrong iron build or what, but it was very underwhelming. I thought it felt so good for a while, and towards these later fights, they just have like more mobility and these blinks. Like Lina got a blink as well, right? There's a blinks on Beastmaster. Lina, all this damage is coming out. Bloodseeker's going way too fast. They have halberds and Lincoln's poppers, and it felt like Sniper ended up having too much to deal with. That definitely had to have been an early game timing for them that they just happened to miss. Maybe they got caught up in themselves. Like seeing Bignum with so little net worth kind of sucks. Like maybe they just struggled to really like delegate farm, maybe being fearful, like, okay, we're not going to take this part of the map for our support because GPK is there looking to kill our supports, and they're just not dealing with it properly.
Yeah, it's one of the struggles you have. I think we pointed out having Marcy and your Rubik as your supports, right? They're both kind of position 4s, even like 3.5s. They like being a little greedier. So I think you're right on the head there with farm distribution. Slayer with Aetherland's Blink Dagger, you know, you don't really expect that from a position quote unquote 5 Rubik, even though they did do the lane swaps. But yeah,